Sports Gamer.
What's going on, sports gamers? Mike Straw, managing editor of Sports Gamers Online here, and we have some more information on what fans can expect from MLB The Show 20. Now, Sony San Diego held a live stream on Thursday afternoon that dove into the defensive play in this year's game, and it covered quite a bit of ground. So if you missed that stream, we have a full rundown on what's coming when the game launches on March 17th for PlayStation 4. But before we get into that though, be sure to leave a like on this video if you want more MLB The Show content, and subscribe to Sports Gamers Online and turn on your notifications to be alerted whenever a new video goes live. So without any more delay, let's get right into it. The stream kicked off with gameplay director Chris Gill and gameplay producer Kyle Saul joining Ramon Russell to go over all of the defensive changes. And the big thing that stood out from this was the MLB The Show's team wanting to add another level of, quote, intensity and focus after MLB The Show kind of became a bit too predictable to them on the defensive standpoint. Now, before getting really into everything, they talked about the fact that there's going to be a learning curve, and Gill specifically said that it's going to come especially with the updates to the throw accuracy meter. So, what are these changes coming to the defensive side in MLB The Show that'll make the game more fun for players? Well, the first thing they talked about was the new defensive attributes screen and overlay that kind of acts like a scouting report on the field. With a click of the right stick, you can pop up and get an idea of a player's arm strength and accuracy anywhere in the field, especially when you're thinking of outfielders. This was brought up quite a bit throughout the stream because it impacts a lot of decisions that players are going to make both defensively and offensively, whether or not to steal bases or make a throw to home or just play it safe. And we'll get into that more as we go on. But the first thing they really talked about were the changes to the outfield start transitions. Now, players will be able to break in 8 different directions, but the user doesn't control this. It's all done based on a player's attributes. Because of that, the game will always start a player in the right direction, but the best fielders will get the best transitions. Now, Gill admitted during the stream that it wasn't super noticeable during gameplay, and it's not likely to be in the grand scheme of things, but to the keen eye, it's definitely going to be a more subtle improvement that'll make the gameplay more authentic overall.
Well, you guys know you're not going to get the perfect jump every single time. So we're trying to simulate that exact thing that happens in real life, which is it's not a computer video game. You're not going to get the exact direct line to the ball. So we have to do something that supports the player's attribute. And that's what we're doing here.
What's more is that these start paths and transitions will add a variety to how fielders play the ball and set up for their throw, which goes along the lines of what they said throughout this stream of making defense much more fun to play. Now, the next thing they talked about during the stream was the brand new extreme catch indicator. Now, this new indicator will only pop up on sinking line drives, so it doesn't pop up on every single type of hit. What it is a red ball display on the field in place of the old basic ball marker. And when it shows up, it gives you a bit of a risk reward on making these catch attempts on 3 different things. You can either make a dive attempt for a catch, a shoestring attempt, or just play the ball safe and just make the smart play. Now, because of this risk reward system, the red indicator will show that you could be bitten by a mistake, and it allows you to decide between a more aggressive or conservative approach, as I mentioned. The extreme catch meter then sort of piggybacked into the updated relay meter and throw accuracy meter changes coming to MLB The Show 20. Now, the developers claim that it was a bit too easy to hit the green on the throw meter in past games, and it didn't really scale properly based on the distance of the throw upcoming. The new changes to the accuracy meter will combine a player's attributes alongside the user's skill level. What you'll see with this updated throwing meter is a sped up meter needle for one that won't always go the same slow speed that it has in the past. Distance and ratings will always impact the throw meter, especially when it comes to making the proper play. On top of that, you'll have one shot to make the right hit on the meter when making a throw. It won't go back and forth on the meter like in the past, so once you make that decision to throw, you're there. Now, switching your throw destination from second base to, say, first base will give you a new meter, but it won't reset the prior destination, say, to second base, if you decide to go back and make that throw. If you manage to hit it in the green, it's going to stay there when you make that throw, but if you manage to place the meter needle in the red, switching to a different destination and going back won't make any changes to that.
this goes back to what I was talking about, making those plays more exciting and less predictable, right? So because we are scaling it, we're using that formula. Distance is huge, okay? So you need to check the player arm accuracy rating of those guys. And the distance at which they're throwing the ball to home, you're going to see a far less. It's going to be a lot more difficult to make those assists at bases from far throws, especially to home plate.
Sticking with the throw meter, there's also a new throw home indicator dead center when making that throw. There's a perfect line right in the middle that if you hit it, you'll make a perfect throw to home plate or to the relay guy trying to come out and help. Now, getting it in the green is still a good to great throw, it just won't be considered perfect by the game. There's a difference between a great throw and a perfect throw, as a great throw will still see the catcher not really have to move at the plate, but they may have to reach their arm out in the wrong direction, whereas a perfect throw will hit the catcher in the chest for the best play possible at home.
When we talk about the predictability part, when you see that happening, or in the past when you would when you were running the bases, you knew whether you could come home or not because you knew what those outcomes were going to be. And now with that perfect line, when you're running, you're not going to know if that guy's going to have a perfect throw or not. Right. That perfect throw is going to be right on the dish. So the throw comes literally from left field, all fields, right? The throw is going to be low and right in the position where he tags. So he'll catch him.
With this new updated system, users will be able to be more responsible for the relay throws and throws home than ever before, so your skill on the buttons will matter. Continuing on with the throw meter, it's also been changed for catchers, which admittedly can be more difficult due to the surprising quickness that the meter appears. Now, where this leads to is one of my favorite defensive changes, admittedly, that has come from MLB The Show 19 to MLB The Show 20, and that's the animations for making a tag when throwing out a runner. Now, in the past, whenever you were throwing to a base to throw out a runner, the fielder had to make the catch, get into a neutral pose, and then go into the tag animation. That little hitch no longer appears in MLB The Show 20, as new tag animations have been directly added to the game that allow the players to make a tag straight from where they catch the ball. There's no more animation hitches, which really makes up for that split-second difference between being out and being safe. Again, this is going to be guaranteed one of my most favorite defensive changes because I, no matter what, will always attempt to throw out a runner even if it gets me in trouble. So having this little split-second difference is going to go a long way in helping. Another new big improvement for defensive changes is the ability of catchers blocking the ball behind the plate. In the past, it didn't really scale properly for players, but in MLB The Show 20, the block attribute directly determines how a catcher reacts. Some will get down before the ball even gets there, while lower level players won't even know how to react, especially as they did in the example, move a player from the outfield to catcher with no reason to be behind the plate. They also addressed a bug from MLB The Show 19 regarding the physics and collision with the ball, and that it no longer will go through the catcher at times, so if the catcher goes down to block the ball and the ball's in front of them, the ball is going to hit them as opposed to going through them and making a wild pitch. Now lastly, they talked about improved fielder efficiency, thanks to the ability for adding new animations for things like turning double plays and fielding balls and throwing across the body. Everything they've done will make defensive play much more fluid, and circling back to the beginning of the stream, what they wanted to do to make defense more fun.
We are in that motion capture studio probably more than any other sports title. I mean, we have the luxury of having our own studio here on campus, and so when we need anything, Kyle knows this because he's over there a lot doing stances and stuff. We're able to get over there and do it. I have a lot of really solid connections in baseball where we can get really good athletes in here to do our motion capture. And so it's been a blessing for us to be able to put in as many animations as we have annually.
So there you have it, sports gamers, for all of the defensive upgrades coming to MLB The Show 20. Will it pay off and make defensive play more fun like they want? We'll have to wait until we get our hands on the game, but it really does sound promising. So again, if you like this video and you want more MLB The Show breakdowns, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to Sports Gamers Online and hit that bell to be notified whenever a new video goes live. And be sure to stick with Sports Gamers Online for more content daily, and visit our website at sportsgamersonline.com.